Switching gears for just a second, I was at a Super Saturday event 2 weeks ago with Mr. Harold Branch. And Harold brought up an incredible number of folks that had ring advanced. And he brought up this young woman, Dee Parker. And I was so touched by Dee's story. Dee's only been in the company a little over a year and a half. She's from El Mirage, Arizona. And just in walking across the stage, she shared some experiences that were so moving and touching that I asked her to come here today to share them with you. Dee Parker. Wonderfully beautiful and pleasant young woman is a combat veteran, having returned from Afghanistan. That day, very candidly from the stage, Dee shared that she is a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder and saw incredible violence in Afghanistan. And her story touched my heart. Dee, welcome.
Hello. Hi, Arizona. My name is Dee. My last name is Parker, because my husband's super cute. My story. So, Mr. Branch, Harold Branch, has known me since I was 19 years old. He knew me since I first joined the Air Force, and I got to Luke Air Force Base. And when he first met me, I was the sweetest little Disneyland kid that you've ever met. Feed all the homeless, babysit everyone's kids for free, save all the dogs. I was that person. And then I left, and I came back from overseas, and I had changed a little bit. It was kind of survival of the fittest. If you're not Brutus, you're Caesar, so you need to get yours. And I was mean, I was evil, and I pushed everyone away. I was engaged. When I left, I came back, I was single. I had absolutely no friends. Everyone that tried to stay in touch with me pushed away. And he started giving me a few little coachings here and there on things that I could improve. And anything he told me to do, I did immediately. And he said that he appreciated that I was so coachable. And I told him, if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn. And in 2011, Memorial Day weekend, well, it got really bad. In 2011, the statistics for vets, and not even including combat vets, not even including PTSD vets getting out of the military, the suicide rate was 18% and increasing. And let me pause right there, because there are a lot of Vietnam vets in the room right now, and there are a lot of vets before Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I really, really appreciate you guys, because when we came back, we didn't have a word for it. You guys had to go through everything from no label to what's wrong with you to shell shock to, oh, there's something wrong with everyone that's coming back. We need to give them help. So I really appreciate you guys for sticking in there, and it did pay off. I just wanted to say that part. But it got really bad. And no one knew. I had updated my life insurance. I had updated my will. I had timed the train tracks where Grand meets the 101. There was a delay there where the barrier comes down, just enough of a delay to get your car across. So I was sitting in the Home Depot parking lot, and it was too much because I was in a career field that if you went to mental health, you lost your job. Because there are certain career fields that you couldn't seek help. And I started to pray. And I said, God, my mom told me that you only give us the cross that we can bear. And when it gets too hard, that you send help. My cross is too hard for me to bear. So either I need you to send help or I'm tapping out. And then I went on to say, you created the entire world in 7 days. You can fix this in 7 days if you want to. If you don't fix this in 7 days, I'll fix it myself. Wasn't even done praying. It was the rudest prayer that someone could have. Now that I look back on it. Wasn't even finished praying, a Harold Branch called, and I ignored the call because I was in the middle of telling God that I needed help. So I ignored the call, and those of you that know Harold Branch knows that he doesn't blow people's phones up. He called me right back. So I thought that he needed help, and I answered the phone. I was crying at this point. And it was Memorial Day weekend, September 2011. And he said, I want you to come over to my house. I'm having a cookout. And I want you to meet some of my mentors that changed my life. To be honest with you, they probably saved it. So I came. And that's where I met Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And Mr. Smith was just so humble. He thanked me for my service. And he was like, yeah, I was in the military. And he just left it at that. And then Mrs. Smith comes up to me and she said, my husband didn't tell you something I'm really proud of. My husband has a Bronze Star. Yeah. So those of you who don't know what a Bronze Star is, Google it. See how many people in the military from the history of the military have a Bronze Star and the requirements to get it. So when she told me he had a Bronze Star, it didn't make sense to me because he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, he was smiling, he was happy, he was laughing and joking. And I looked at him and I was like, that's not possible that he has a Bronze Star. It's not. So I Googled him. And I had to go through all of the Smiths because his first name's not Larry to find his picture. I was like, he does have a Bronze Star. And I wanted that. I wanted that happiness that he had because I knew that he saw more than me if he had a Bronze Star. So finally, and I wasn't even in the legal shield at this point in time, and they just accepted me with open arms, with no ulterior motives. They were just loving. And so finally one day, Mr. Branch and I were sitting down, he said, tell me what happened over there, because you're not the same person that I knew. And I told him every single thing. I told him all of the details, and I was crying, and he was pretty close to crying, and we composed ourselves, and he said 3 things. The very first thing he said is, you're in the States. I'll never let anything happen to you. You're safe now. The second thing he said is, you can be a victim or you can be victorious, but you can't be both, so I'm going to need you to pick one. And the very last thing that he said is, let's go get it all back. And they worked with me, and I was rough when I started. I was showing up in Nike sneakers and everything, and everyone was just so loving. And Mel Roberson and Harold Branch, Tanisha Morgan, they created this safe and nurturing environment that was just all about love. It wasn't about overrides, it wasn't about anything else, it was about love, and it was about safety. And once I felt that love and I felt that safety, and I knew that no one could hurt me, and I knew that I was safe, I started to grow as a person, and I started to seek the personal development. And we got it all back, and I had the Performers Club for the 12 months, and they raised rent this month and told me I have to hit Power 20. But in addition to that, that hottie that you guys saw in the picture, that's the guy I was engaged to before I left. Got him back, so we got every single thing back. And I just want to say that if you prayed, I don't know everyone's religious beliefs and things of that nature, but if you prayed for a change, if you prayed for something different, and then you received a mentor is God's gift to you. So if you have a mentor that loves you and is as compassionate as all of my mentors are, you need to treat them like God's gift to you, because that's what they are. God's not going to send heaven to you. He's going to send somebody to you to get you to heaven. And I appreciate all of you guys for getting me to my heaven. I love you guys. That's my story.
Thank you.